So up next we have Truls, also following the Norwegian theme, who's going to tell us about time modeling.
Yeah, so welcome to the second talk of the Norwegian section. So yeah, my name is Truls Flatberg. I'm a senior research scientist at SINTEF, Research Institute in Norway. So I'm going to present some joint work with my colleague, Lars Hellemo, carried out in a research center called Interplay, in which NVE also is a part. So to continue this. So this is not a release package yet, but hopefully, maybe soon, as usual. But so why are we doing this? What is the motivation for? Well, we're working quite a lot with multi-horizon models, typically energy models, investing in process industry. That tend to be or can become quite big. So they can be too big to solve monolithically. So what we've been working on is I'll come back to the next slide, a package to sort of represent these multi-horizon time structures. And one motivation for doing this, when we started this work way back, is that, well, doing this, we introduce some semantics into the model. And then, can we use then these semantics and just do traditional JuMP modeling and still get the decomposition without any extra? Just use the normal, just do some switches, and then you have your decomposition. And then we can plug into other purpose decomposition solvers. We also want to sort of connect more the practical use of decomposition method and what's been done in academia. We have a lot of associate PhDs, and they do specialized algorithms, but it's usually very using the structure of the problem it's solving. So it's hard to sort of generalize, reuse without re-implementing things. So that's the setup of things. So this is a short recap. TimeStruct, I gave a talk on that one back in 2023, I guess. So it's a package that supports this development of optimization models with multi-horizon and possibly uncertainty. I'm not going into the details. There's it's openly available on the GitHub repository. There's a talk, JuMP talk, listed there as well. So I have a and it has matured a bit. So we're using it quite a lot. I guess we're getting some colleagues to use it. It's not spreading worldwide yet, but sort of we're working on it one step at a time. But what you can see here, typically on the right, is that we have this multi-level structure with strategic decision and operational decisions and even operational scenarios that you typically see in, for instance, energy models. And this provides a hierarchy that we can use in decomposition very naturally, either decomposing on a strategic level or on a scenario level. So what we will do is just to have a normal JuMP model, and then you have your time two level with strategic and operational decisions. You make a JuMP model, you make your variables, your constraints. But what you can see when you declare these, we have this what's called a strat periods, which is an iterator of the time structure that iterates your strategic periods. So we use that for indexing. And in a sense, then we're telling this is a problem that should go, if I do, for instance, benders, that should go into the master problem. So it should be doable just from this knowledge to set up automatically, for instance, a bender's decomposition of the problem, setting up the master and the sub-problems. And similarly, where you have just, you're iterating over the time structure, you just get the operational time periods. And you also have these kind of linking constraints if you have both operational and strategic decisions interlinked. And what we've at least achieved is to do this showing that it's feasible. But we've been, so here I'm using it on a test case, and you see it's just the same. But I'm wrapping my model, or creating my model as a decomposition model, which does some things, but it's sort of, otherwise you should be able to do the normal JuMP macros with some caveats. We're not supporting anonymous variables and things. You have to be a bit, sort of, do a vanilla JuMP, sort of. But using the basic variable containers, basic macros, it automatically classifies the variables and your constraints on the strategic and operational level, and can put up the master and the sub-problems. So how does this work internally? Then I'm not going to go into the details, but I guess we're hijacking a lot of things we shouldn't do. So that's why we haven't released it yet. There's no sort of proper connection, as far as I know, between variable refs, what the variables in JuMP, and the containers they're part of. So what we're doing here is sort of inside most of the macros, you attach a container to the model dictionary. There's an object dictionary in your model. And we can, for instance, hijack that indexing, have our own custom object dictionary that sort of at creation times capture or interferes. We have a callback there, and then we can classify, and we can do things. And we also have to do something brittle when we go the other way around, because the container name is part of the variable name. So we can. But it is a bit of brittle, so hopefully we can suggest something to the JuMP core developers that will make this more properly.
Open edition.
Yeah, so we'll see what we need. So this was kind of to test what we would need to do these kind of things. But we support these containers. At least we use dense axis array, sparse axis array, and our own index arrays, which is a sparse array, part of this, which we have developed. But yeah, and then you can say, okay, it should be efficient, sort of. But what we're seeing, sort of doing this, is that we're not getting a lot of overhead on doing this, sort of setting up compared to doing a single. So we're getting some other methods. We have tried different approaches, but what I was talking about is the yellow, and then you see the pink one is a traditional JuMP model. So you're not paying too much in setting up your problem, even though you're classifying at the same time and creating the submodels and the masters. It's fairly efficient here, up to 250,000 variables plus constraints. I haven't pushed it yet, but and then these decomposed problems, when we have been doing this, can be solved then using different backends. So we have a flexible sort of API inside where you can sort of attach to different ones. So currently we have just tested, we have our own Bender's decomposition, which is a very plain Bender's, sort of mostly based on what we can find in the JuMP guide, which is a very good Bender's example. But what we have done is at least even doing plain Bender's, but we have done it multi-threaded and also support distributed computing support. So that was the thing. And then we have been also testing Plasma's Bender's. Plasma.jl has a Bender's implementation, which is also tried to do. So we get that also. So what you see here, you can just optimize with decomposition, and then you can sort of just provide the backend you want to use. So we have at least 2 backends. So basically, you just have to create the model in a slightly different way. So if you have an existing model using TimeStruct, which is also, for instance, but at least that was our motivation, that's not very interfering in the working and modeling process. And then you can test the decomposition to see how it benefits your problem. And if it's really good, sort of, you could probably do more custom-made implementation, but this is a way to sort of, both for PhD students working on the algorithmic side, to have a lot of problems and models to test their algorithms on. Instead of just doing one, they can get access to a lot of models. We have validated this on at least 2 of our sort of energy model systems, Energy Models X and Empire, that it's working. So that sort of provides also the other way around. So we hope to get more interaction with the academia. Yeah, I'm going to show this sort of, it's always dangerous to show this. This shouldn't be taken as sort of authoritative in any way on the algorithms or the results. This is on a test case, which is very, very ideal for Benders. It's small, it's artificial. But at least it indicates the potential, I guess. So we still have some work to do to test this properly on more realistic problems, but and what you see again here, mostly between Plasma and our basic Benders, which is fuzzy, is that it's multi-threaded. So I run it on 4 threads. So basically the speed up there is mostly on the parallelization. But I think there's a benefit here to have. So just some final remarks. Yeah, we have shown at least that it's possible to do this automatic decomposition if we have the semantics of the time structures in the model. It's a scalable solution approach for large multi-horizon models. allows flexible solver integration, and it has been now validated on the real-world energy models. We're going to do more testing and hopefully a bit of cleanup before we release it. But if anyone is interested, reach out, and I'm sure they can give you access. It's an internal repository at the moment, but I'm very happy to discuss, and we'll be sure to sort of see if there are any issues we can sort of raise at the JuMP level to help this work. So thank you.